Hey everyone, Soundwave84 here, another Transformers Earthrise review. In this review, take a look at the new Voyager class Megatron from Earthrise. This is one of the figures when you first see it, and you're like, it's an easy pass. I got like 15 Megatrons from Siege. I don't need another one. Especially when one looks very, very similar to what I already have now. But then you get this one in hand, because you're just like, oh fine, I can't find any other freaking figures. I'll just buy this one. And then you're just like, that's not a bad figure. Then you're kind of torn between which one you like the most. That is this Megatron to me. We'll go more in depth with that as the video progresses. But first, we'll take a look at the packaging. So we'll just move Megatron off to the side. Look at the packaging. There's nothing special. Do you all want me to show this packaging? Because there's nothing special. Let me know down in the comments below. Really, the only thing new on it versus any of the box is just the side box art, which is Megatron bitching about the arc taking off. And this is a continuation from the Siege Netflix series. He's wanting to go after this ship right here. But he has the more Siege head here. They got little dots on the side. It's not on the Earthrise. That is on the Siege head sculpt. Flip around to the back. 21 steps gets you from here to here. And it's one of the figures I think, it improves in hand versus pictures online. You can't judge this figure by pictures online. I mean, you can judge anything you want. I'm just saying, you really don't know until you get in hand where things might look better. So let's look at the figure. Alright, so to start out this how does he stack up comparison review. First off, right here is Earthrise Megatron in all his glory. If you have Siege Megatron, you have a lot of this figure already. Now, I did change some things, and I also reused some parts as well, and we'll show that off. But first, let's just take a quick look at the actual Earthrise Megatron figure. He looks actually pretty good. I actually really like the overall body sculpt of this figure, and the fusion cannon, I think, is an improvement over the Siege version. The head is probably my biggest source of contention on this figure, the head sculpt and everything, which it is actually, put over here, pretty cartoon accurate. If you want to go by the cartoon, he had this black little unibrow going over his entire eyes. So it's there. It's even in the MP Megatron. It's just not as, it's more, MP just pulls it off better, I would say, than this figure here pulls it off. He's got a lot of pieces he reuses from Siege. Some things change. He is an Earth style tank here instead of being a Cybertronian tank. And we'll just go over the articulation real fast. Pretty much, this is exactly what you got out of Siege. He's got shoulders to there. He's got bicep swivels, bends to there. No wrist swivels because his hands fold in. They didn't add anything there. He's got hip joints that are actually pretty tight out to here. He's actually a decently tight figure in certain areas, but he does carry some of the problems from Siege over to this mold. You can go there. Knees can bend to there. Ankles can rock back. That's for transformation. And of course, you can ankle tilt out. And he has these heel spurs that do move. And that's one of the negatives on the figure. And I'll talk more about that in a moment. Head is on a ball joint. You do have a little bit of an up, and not really any down. And you can 360 it around, but it is a tight joint right there. Now he's got a waist swivel. I can't say that. He's got a waist swivel. You end up hitting the backpack, so you don't really get a full 360 out of it. You just can kind of angle him around. And the fusion cannon is on a peg. You peg it in so it can spin around. And of course, you can move his arm to get it to pose exactly the way you want it. And then his shoulders can also go all the way around. And the joint here untabs if you want a little extra movement for pictures if you're trying to pose your Megatron. So that is your articulation on this figure. So what we're going to do now is go ahead and bring in the very first Megatron release from Siege to show you the similarities and the differences. Now the gray color is very similar. The Earthrise Megatron doesn't have any battle damage on the torso. Everything is down on his legs, which I like that. I like to have a more cleaner Transformer. I also really like to have the battle damage though. Now you can see where you see a lot of similarities. You have the exact same thigh pieces on each figure. They share the same feet, same heel spurs, and that's one of the biggest problems that carry over because these will pop out a lot on my Siege figures. They don't really stay in very well. You try to move them, transform them, they will pop out, and I've had that problem here. They haven't popped out yet. You can see where they don't want to sit. I can zoom in a little bit on here. They don't really sit too flush in there, and they do want to move, and he will fall backwards pretty easily, so I'm just letting you know. He doesn't have that little ankle tilt lock that Siege has. So this is a free, but it's actually a decently tight ankle lock. So it's not floppy, and when you know, it's not this, and it doesn't have to do all that kind of stuff there. He does share the exact same arms. Mainly it's the front. Arms, hands, exactly the same. The back part of the arms are what's different. Siege has this, and this piece is supposed to fold up, whereas Earthrise does not have that on their copy. It's just this black piece of plastic back here. Otherwise, the rest of that is the same. Got a new chest piece, a new abdomen, and then you got a new waist piece. The crotch on the Earthrise is actually a little more G1 accurate, as is the abdomen and chest piece. The only problem is he doesn't have the red on the side like he would in the cartoon, whereas the first 35th anniversary cell shaded Megatron is more of the cartoon accuracy and colors and everything. I kind of wish they had added the red on this. He's one of the figures I kind of want to buy 2 of, just so I can customize this one, add some red here. I kind of want to switch the heads, maybe. I don't know. It's better in person than it is in pictures. I'll continue. Overall, we'll take that one out to the back. You can see where the back pit. He's still got the backpack going on, but it's just, I like the look of the Earth style better. That's just me. I just think overall, Earthrise Megatron has the tight joints of the Netflix Megatron or the 35th anniversary Megatron. So he's an improvement, especially over the first release Siege Megatron. Now I don't have the Selects Megatron, so I can't compare that one. It just didn't appeal to me, so I just didn't want to waste my money on the 4th version of the same figure. This one here is pretty much the 5th version of this figure. He's just got some changes. Alright, so let's compare the fusion cannons. This is the fusion cannon you're going to get with the Earthrise. This would be the bottom. This piece here would be the top. You can see it's got a little more of a G1 look to it. And you can hold some blast effects here in the front as well. Nice little hollowed out back. This is the Siege fusion cannon. It's a little more Cybertronian, I guess you could say. It's more a little more detailed than the Earthrise. So Earthrise on bottom, Siege on top. Also appears to be a little bit longer. Earthrise is taller than the Siege fusion cannon. And you also get swords or blades with each one. This is what you get with the Earthrise. It's bigger, more gaudy. This piece actually can come off. And this is the one you get with Siege. Again, Earthrise is taller. And these are what form the barrels of the tank mode. So we'll just tab this onto the arm. You can put it on the outside of the arm on the Earthrise. And then you take his fusion cannon. You want the flat side with the peg here. Peg it in his arm. Like that. And you got him done and ready to battle. Now here's the look at the 4 Megatrons I have from War for Cybertron. Oh my god, so many Megatrons. We're getting a G2 Megs coming as well. I didn't get the Selects Megatron. That is 6 Megatrons in just 2 lines. And in Kingdom, we're going to be getting the Beast Wars Megatron, which at least that be totally different. So that's a plus. But it's a nice figure. If you don't have any of the other Megatrons, it's a fine pickup if you can't find this one or this one. So far, I think my definitive Megatron out of these 4, just in robot mode, based on color schemes, I like the 35th for my cartoon version, and I like the Netflix one here as like my modernized comic book version. The Earthrise would be, he would fit in with the cartoon version if I just think the colors are a little bit different. I don't know. The head sculpt is fine. In person, it's not as bad as I thought it would be. It's a good figure. And here he is next to Earthrise Optimus Prime. I think these two look good together. Again, I am torn on the Megatrons. Is this one better, or is like one of the Siege versions better? The same way I am with Earthrise Optimus Prime and Siege Optimus Prime. I like them both, and I can see both could be my definitive Prime. I can't choose which one. Both really good. Now let's transform Earthrise Megatron. And he transforms very similar to the Siege versions. And the first thing we'll do is just fold up his hands. inside his forearms. Take his fusion cannon, fold it around. You're going to come to the back side of the figure, take this whole backpack, bring this whole section up, and it's going to come up and over like this. Untab his arms from the side. There's another peg here and a fusion cannon, which would go right here in the arm. I just want to bring those around and just tab that together, push it in. We're going to come up here to the top piece here, fold these pieces out like this, and then this is going to collapse into this cavity. There's these little slots right here on the side. There are these tabs right here on the arms, and you're going to bring this down. There we go. And this goes all the way in. Bring these out, and then we can collapse this down. And then we want to get that to line up. Just tab that in on the sides. There's tabs up here in these gray pieces. Slots right in the top right here. We want to just bring this down and let's go ahead and tab that in to there. Lock that in. Come back here to the feet, and that's probably one of my biggest problems with this. He wants to fall backwards. These move. These aren't very good here. Fold these in. They pop off. They just snap it back on. So he just wants. It's just, I don't like it. That's the only thing I don't like. Well, not the only thing. I just don't like that. Take them at the waist. You want to do a waist swivel here. 180. And then it's like transforming the Siege Megatron. Bring this piece down. Bring his legs out to the side. Fold this piece down here. Then you're going to rotate this piece here. You're going to bring this up. There's a tab here, which would go into a slot right in here. So you want to just rotate at the thigh swivel. Bring this around. That will now tab in. And you want it to be pretty much flat, so this piece here can now come back and over that. So we'll do the other side. Up. Down. Then you rotate at the thigh swivel. Bring it up and around. Tab that piece in. Close this piece up. It's not flat. Push that in. The feet you want to be angled, so if they're not, angle them. They will kind of move around on you pretty easily. Then you have this sword he comes with. Right here. When you take this black piece off, it just unpegs out of there. Fold this peg piece down. Then you want to take this piece here. It's got these two tabs on the side. The back part back here, there are these little slots on the inside. You just want to fit this piece in this way, and you just want to get it into these tabs. So just slot that in. Get one side, and we're going to get the other side. Like this, and this adds an extra piece here in the back. And then you want to take this, you can see there's little slots here. That's going to go right here on these pieces. The little peg is going to go right into the back, the barrel of the fusion cannon. Line that up, tab it in, and you now have Megatron transformed into his tank mode. He does have some wheels, so he will roll slightly, and it will support blast effects in the barrel of the gun. So let's do a quick comparison with this one with the Siege in tank mode. And here is Earthrise Tank Megatron with Siege Tank Megatron. And you can see they are very, very similar vehicles. I just think the Earthrise pulls off the tank a lot better. You get my tab right there. He just looks cleaner. He looks he hides any gaps with this little piece. I know it's parts forming. I know that's a big no-no for a lot of people, but at least it hides part of the gap in vehicle mode. Whereas this is clearly just hole in this piece sucks. I do like the added lights on the front of this, but it's not bad. And if you want to, and you like this kind of barrel, you can actually switch this into the Earthrise. We'll just pull this off and pull this one off, and it slides in just like it does on the Earthrise. I mean the Siege. And then you have the Earthrise with the Siege cannon, and the turret does spin 360 all the way around. So you can do that. You can use the Siege on the Earthrise Megatron if you desire that look, which is not bad. So it's like half, well, it's like 3/4 Earth, 1/4 Cybertronian. Alright, so final thoughts on this Earthrise Megatron. If you have none of the other Megatrons, can't find any, and you can find this one, pick them up. It is not bad. The head sculpt, the face sculpt is probably the biggest negative on the figure. And honestly, the more I have it in hand, I don't mind it. It probably looks worse in pictures. It looked bad in the pictures I saw. I didn't want it for that. But in hand, it's not that bad. Now, the figure itself is a lot better than the initial Siege release. Joints are a lot better, transformations a lot better, and they actually, with the head here, it's got some tabs on the side, and it can't lift it all the way up. Also, just be aware though that when you transform, the head does collapse inside. He's got a Jay Leno-like chin that curves out back here, and it will catch on this little bar here, so you might get some paint chipping off on the chin with repeated transformations. He does reuse a lot of parts from Siege, and that's probably the biggest negative, is these back pieces. He will tend to fall over backwards. He is kind of, I guess, back heavy with the huge tank treads on his back. But otherwise, the figure is kind of like G1. They took the cartoon animation look to him, brought it out. Now, he doesn't have the full colors of the animation, but he's got more of the look, especially with the face design. The figure is nice as a Megatron. I'm still not sure if I want to slide this in as my Megatron on my shelf. I still like the 35th anniversary version, and I really like the silver look on the Netflix version. The Netflix version really looks like a modern comic book version of Megatron, just pulled out on the shelf. So he's like a good comic book version. This one looks like a good cartoon version. So is this one. They're both good. It's hard to choose. It's like Earthrise Prime versus Siege Prime. Both are good in their own ways. It's hard to choose which one. I know people are probably Megatron out and don't like the look of this guy, but he's not as bad in person, in my opinion. I want to say thanks for watching this long-winded comparison review. How does he stack up? He stacks up pretty well, in my opinion. Till next one. Peace out.